Yo, what's up with you guys? If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. But once again, go ahead, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're finna get back into it. Finna get this thing jumping. Harness should be dialed in, so shouldn't have anything to worry about besides working and making it look nice. So I'm not gonna do too much talking. I just wanna maybe do my talking at the end, kind of tell you what we got going on, tell you what's coming up. But for today's video, it is wiring harness stuff. I do have the harness kind of sitting on the ground outside the car, so my plan is kind of mock everything up where it is gonna go and kind of put it in my head where I wanted to route it and make it look clean and all that other good stuff. But I don't want to kind of make it too much solidified and mounted up and all that good stuff, because you never know, might have to take it out again or might have to move it or reroute it. So kind of just want to get a good idea of where I'm going to put everything at and run the wires through, and hopefully should be able to leave it there. But I'm not going to do too much talking. Let's get into the video. What's going on with you guys? So what we got here is the 5 relay universal busman that I ordered from Wiring Specialties. And if you didn't already see my Instagram post, kind of go through it again, but here we go. We got the 5 relay busman. This is kind of off by itself because this is, I would say, the chassis harness / adapter for your vehicle. So it's kind of separated from your harness, but that's the old chassis harness that I had. It was for the 240SX, and it wasn't anything wrong with it. I messed it up because I snipped it up and thought I was gonna have to convert that to go with the Audi, but this is a way better option. Should be so much smoother, so much easier, and once again, nicer. But I had to send my harness into Wiring Specialties to have them repin this connector, because this is a 16-pin connector. This is on all their old style harnesses that they made back before, I would say, 2014 or right around then. But nothing that you should worry about unless you have this and you're trying to go universal, but still not a big worry. All I did was send this into Wiring Specialties, not this harness, my harness, and all they did was repin this on this side of the harness and then pretty much have the same female connector on that side for my busman, because that's pretty much all they offer in that size is the 32. So I went ahead and had them pin it to a 32 so that I could run the universal busman. And all I'm going to do now is run each component manually. So this the red wires are fuel pump. Here we have fan 1 and fan 2, which is the blue and green, so those will be for my fans. And orange is auxiliary. So depending on what I'm going to use as auxiliary is what I'll run that to. But other than that, this harness is pretty straightforward. Even these are labeled like speed ground, AC relay, aux relay, tachometer, all the good stuff. So everything should line up and be pretty dialed in. Once I'm done with it, it's just going to take me a good amount of time, and I'm just trying to figure out where I want everything to sit as far as mounting the relay and kind of routing everything through. So that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out and map out in my head before I start just running everything through, because it is dyingly hot in this garage. So once I figure all that out, we'll really get into the video. I might just set the camera down and just time lapse it and then kind of give you guys another update what I'm doing midway through, and just keep going at it, because I just like to work and I want to get this thing pretty much dialed in as much as I can so that my homeboy can come over and plug it up to the AEM computer, so we can plug it up, download the AEM software, and then see what the ECU and all that stuff does. So I'm gonna get as much as I can get done, and then we'll get back to filming. So
7 days a week, trap, 7 days a week, put that shit in motion, this Costa Nostra, hell we kill 'em, I don't wanna post 'em, in a foreign car, back seat, leather sofa, I'ma need some help, we done bought up all the sodas, hard to approach us, hard to stay focused, mob in on purpose, car cost a crib, it even came with the curtains, this I know for certain, this I know from working, got it out the dirt, days a week, yeah, I'm trapping. 7 days a week, yeah, I'm trapping. 7 days a week, yeah, I'm trapping. 7 days a week, yeah, no off day, no trapping. 7 days a week.
So, relay has been mounted. I just used that little bolt right there you see. That was the pretty much hold down bolt, whatever you want to call it, for the battery. I'm already gonna have to relocate the battery to the trunk. This was something I kind of already had in mind, but this is gonna be a definite because the Busman is, I wanted it to sit somewhere like over here or maybe over there somewhere, but I think this will be the best spot for it, just because it'll be neat, clean, kind of hidden. Wires are kind of tucked and all that other good stuff, but that's the only good spot that I have to mount the Busman for right now. Thinking about, I don't know. We'll just save all our thoughts for later. But as far as I know, to my knowledge, I'm gonna just leave the relay right there, kind of route everything clean as possible to wherever it needs to go. But I just think that's the best location for it because it's open space, it's not crowded, it shouldn't get too hot up in here. So yeah, that'll be the best place we can do it for right now. Just gotta make sure I stay clear of these because these are my heater core lines right here, and I'll be having to run those down. So trying to keep everything kind of clean and kind of out the way as best as possible without having too many mishaps or other crappy stuff in the way. But yeah, Busman's mounted. Let's see how we're gonna route all this stuff. We'll figure all that out as we go. Let's kind of give you guys a quick peek at what I'm doing. Making some decent progress. Hot as hell in this garage, but it's all good. We're moving. So I went ahead and mounted up the Busman. Like I did say, we're gonna relocate the battery and all that good stuff. But I kind of like the way this sits. I just have to figure out what I'm gonna do as far as this plastic side, because this side's not, it's just one bolt at the bottom. So I have to figure that out. As far as that side, we'll just probably make something so we'll make it work. But these are some of my 3 main wires / 3 12-volt wires that I'm gonna have to run. Here we have fuel pump, and then the 2, excuse me, sorry you guys couldn't see that, but here we have fuel pump and then the 2 fans. So 2 fans are gonna be routed down, moving towards the fan. I'll find a better way to tuck them. But I don't think I'm gonna be running these stock fans anymore because I'm gonna be doing a custom radiator setup. So I'm glad these are pretty, what do I want to say, simple to wire up as far as fans. That'll be super easy for 1 and 2, just these 12 volts. And fuel pump. Unfortunately, this wire, I can already see by looking at it, it's not long enough to run all the way back to my fuel pump. So I have to figure out what I want to do as far as fuel pump. I'm not sure if I want to run this wire all the way back to fuel pump and maybe extend it, just grab another wire and extend it. Or should I maybe see if I could find fuel pump up there to get it to cut on. I'll try and see if I can find it up there, but if not, I'll just run it back to the pump itself, well, the connector, and then I'll have enough length to keep the connector damn near outside of the tank and, you know, all that good stuff. But still trying to figure this out. I have a bug over here rattling its butt off. I love my little light setup right here. It's kind of hard for you guys to see, but making some really smooth progress. Trying to keep everything as clean as possible, but you know me, I'm gonna just keep taking my time, just dialing it in. I'll just keep updating you guys as I go, but I'm super hyped. Can't wait to get this thing started. Busman looks good in there. I just left the auxiliary. I taped the top because the wire was exposed, just as if I wanted to splice something on, but taped it, set it down. Aux is still good. And I just think this really looks cool. Crap, it's gonna be a pain in the butt to take off this lid. It's not bolted down, but man, that looks cool. Ignition, fan 1, fan 2, fuel pump, and auxiliary. So I think it's pretty sweet, man. Let me figure this thing out. Kind of leave that off just so it looks cool for a little bit.
Yes, of course.
So it's the day after the next. Pretty much got everything installed that I can think of and routed up as far as the harness, tuck in the extra little, excuse me, as far as tucking these little guys away, because I don't think I need these because the dash that I'm running runs off CAN, so everything just communicates off 2 wires. The battery relocate wires ran. It's right here. It's got some extra slack because I still gotta connect everything to the distribution block, but I just don't know how I want to do that because some of these wires are short and need like extra length. But everything's pretty much routed up. This is the new busman, so I have to rerun the fuel pump line and stuff like that, but that'll be really easy. But I'm trying to run it through the chassis side harness versus directly to the pump before I actually run it all the way through the back, but either way it should be pretty easy. And then these 2 wires should be all I need as far as ignition constant and start. And then like I said, I'm running my dash off CAN, so I don't think I need these too much yet. I might need fuel level if it's on that, but I think that communicates through CAN too, so that should be easy. And yeah, so I'll connect all these to the distribution, put a battery in the trunk, and then, I mean, we should have constant power. But I mean, I hooked up power to the front of these and I was connected to the ECU already. So everything was ran and it works fine, but I'm not gonna start the car just yet until I get all the fab work done, because I'm pretty sure if I put oil and coolant in here, I'm gonna have to remove maybe the turbo or something else when I redo the front end. I mean, I was trying to use the stock front end, but it's not gonna line up with everything I'm trying to do, and it'll just be easier to do custom front end, like stainless tube, and mount the fans on the other side and run the 2 wires for fan 1 and fan 2. So that'd be much easier to just ditch this and just fab up a whole front end. So that's what I've been having it sit for and thinking about my whole time. But ditching this finally, so was thinking about keeping it for the longest, but it's time for it to go. So custom front end will be coming next. Wiring should be dialed in by then. So by then.
By then.
But other than that, that's really it. Put a hood exit, dump pipes already ran. It's pretty simple. Pretty simple. Cause you see all the wiring there, it's all labeled, so the wiring is like dummy easy, anybody could do it. But once you finish that up, we'll start it, but here.